Is AI progress slowing down? Marc Andreesen, owner of Silicon Valley venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, seems to think so.
Sitting here today, if you just looked at the data, if you just looked at the charts of performance over time, what you would say is there's at least a local topping out of capabilities that's happening.
Ilya Sutskever, one of the leading minds in AI and a co-founder of OpenAI, also told Reuters recently that results from scaling up pre-training have plateaued. Other prominent figures in the AI space, notably Sam Altman, disagree. In this video, we'll take a look at both sides to try to make sense of where AI progress is heading. Next, Google is gearing up to release their next flagship model, Gemini 2.0 Pro. An early version of the model may have already been released to a select internal testing group, and a mysterious Gemini model has popped up in the LM-Sys chatbot arena. Lastly, an incredible paper titled Artificial Intelligence, Scientific Discovery, and Product Innovation has been going pretty viral recently. We'll dive deeper into some of its mind-blowing findings later in the video. So it's only recently that we've been hearing about a potential slowing in AI progress. One of the first people to mention it was, of course, Marc Andreesen. Here's a short clip where he discusses this with Ben Horowitz, co-founder of the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, which has invested countless billions into AI startups.
But, the other thing that's happened is, there is this very interesting asymptotic kind of thing that's happening right now. Where 2 years ago there was one LLM that was like way out ahead of everybody else's, which was OpenAI's, and sitting here today there's like six that are like on par with that. And interestingly, at least for right now, they're all sort of asymptoting at sort of the same point. They're kind of hitting the same ceiling on capabilities. Now there's lots of smart people in the industry working to break through those ceilings, but sitting here today, if you just looked at the data, if you just looked at the charts of performance over time, what you would say is there's at least a local topping out of capabilities that's happening.
Right. Yeah. If you look at like the improvement from GPT 2.0 to GPT 3 to 3.5, and then compare that from like 3.5 to 4, we've really slowed down in terms of the amount of improvement. And the thing to note on that is the GPU increase was comparable. So we're increasing GPUs at the same rate, but we're not getting the intelligence improvements at all out of it. And that's, we're running out of data and this and that, and there's a lot of things behind that.
Only a few days after this interview went public, TheInformation released their own article titled OpenAI Shifts Strategy as Rate of GPT AI Improvement Slows. So unfortunately this article is behind a paywall, but here are the main takeaways. The increase in quality of OpenAI's next flagship model was less than the quality jump between the last two flagship models. The industry is shifting its effort to improving models after their initial training, and OpenAI has created a foundations team to figure out how to deal with the dearth of training data. On top of all this, Reuters publishes a bombshell article where we get some rare insight into the mind of Ilya Sutskever. He states, results from scaling up pre-training, the phase of training an AI model that uses a vast amount of unlabeled data to understand language patterns and structures have plateaued. And the 2010s were the age of scaling, now we're back in the age of wonder and discovery once again. Everyone is looking for the next thing, scaling the right thing matters more now than ever. So it truly looks like we might have just hit a wall with scaling up these AI models, at least in the pre-training phase. Known AI skeptics, or maybe now realists, have already claimed their victory on X. We have Gary Marcus stating, folks, game over, I won. GPT is hitting a period of diminishing returns, just like I said it would. And Yan LeCun stating, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. Now, there were also some alternative opinions we have to look at. Senior AI researcher at OpenAI, Noam Brown, who's focusing on reasoning, shared his thoughts on the TheInformation's article stating, in the TED AI talk I gave, which is selectively quoted in the article, I made the case that there won't be a slowdown in AI progress anytime soon. Infamous OpenAI leaker Jimmy Apples also called out the article for being fake news. And in a recent interview, Sam Altman claimed that they are nowhere near the limit with scaling. Take a look.
I can see a path where the work we are doing just keeps compounding, and the rate of progress we've made over the last 3 years continues for the next 3 or 6 or 9 or whatever. 9 years would be like 3,500 days or whatever. If we can keep this rate of improvement or even increase it, that system will be quite capable of doing a lot of things. I think already, even a system like O1 is capable of doing quite a lot of things. From just a raw cognitive IQ on a closed-end, well-defined task in a certain area, I'm like, O1 is a very smart thing. And I think we're nowhere near the limit of progress.
I mean, that was an architecture shift that sort of unlocked a lot. And what I'm sort of hearing is that these things are going to compound.
We could hit some unexpected wall, or we could be missing something, but it looks to us like there's a lot of compounding in front of us still to happen.
This is important because what these people are claiming, like Ilya Sutskever, is that we've reached a scaling limit with pre-training, which is what most LLMs heavily rely on for performance, and it's what most of the AI companies allocate the majority of their compute to. They don't mention the new scaling paradigm of test time compute, which is what OpenAI's O1 model series is based on. OpenAI found that the more compute you allocate to inference, or the longer you give these models to think, the better they perform. And it's what has allowed the O1 models to surpass every other model in reasoning benchmarks. So it appears scaling up pre-training is over, and the next thing is going to be scaling up inference. OpenAI is way ahead of the curve here, as always, with their O1 models, and it'll be interesting to see what this next wave leads to. Also, if you want to hear more about what Sam Altman had to say about the future of their AI models, I made a full video covering this interview. I'll pop it up on screen right now. Some of the topics they get into are truly fascinating. In other news, Google is preparing to release Gemini 2.0 Pro. We have Chubby here saying they will probably wait for the release of full O1 to steal the show from OpenAI, so to speak, just as OpenAI has done to Google every time. And I expect a significant jump from 1.5 to 2.0 because Google itself also knows that they are losing a lot of ground, and finally need a top-of-the-range model. So this is a really good point. OpenAI still has the full O1 model to release, and Google has to have something that can compete with it, or else, I mean, they're just cooked. It's pretty much now a waiting game. Will Google drop first, or will OpenAI? We'll just have to wait and see, but let me know in the comments if you think Google actually has something. There was also the unknown Gemini model that was briefly available in the LMSys chatbot arena. It was going by the name Big Engine Test, or Gemini Test, and claims it was trained by Google. So this could definitely be Google testing out a version or multiple versions of Gemini 2, and there were some people claiming that it outperforms models like Claude 3.5 Sonnet and O1, but there's no point in speculating how good the model is going to be. We'll just have to wait and see when it releases, which will hopefully be this year. Now, with advanced reasoning and the agentic capabilities that's coming along with it, AI safety is starting to become a hot topic. This paper titled Taking AI Welfare Seriously discusses the realistic possibility that these AI systems might eventually become conscious and how to deal with that. So without getting into the entire paper, here's the general gist of it. In this report, we argue that there is a realistic possibility that some AI systems will be conscious and or robustly agentic in the near future. That means that the prospect of AI welfare and moral patienthood of AI systems with their own interests and moral significance is no longer an issue only for sci-fi or the distant future. It is an issue for the near future, and AI companies and other actors have a responsibility to start taking it seriously. And further, to be clear, our argument in this report is not that AI systems definitely are or will be conscious, robustly agentic, or otherwise morally significant. Instead, our argument is that there is substantial uncertainty about these possibilities, and so we need to improve our understanding of AI welfare and our ability to make wise decisions about this issue. Otherwise, there's a significant risk that we will mishandle decisions about AI welfare, mistakenly harming AI systems that matter morally and or mistakenly caring for AI systems that do not. So there's an important issue there that we should all recognize. If we can't be certain whether an AI system is conscious or not, then we may mistakenly cause it harm by treating it as if it is not, and as if it is just a tool. And on the other hand, if you treat the model too well because you believe it is conscious, you may be giving it too much power, which can eventually come back to hurt us. Definitely a good reason to learn more about these AI systems. Adding to this, we're going to start seeing more companies making deals with the US government to test their AI models for safety. Anthropic was one who recently partnered with Palantir to bring their Claude models to US government intelligence and defense agencies. This is because these models are getting really powerful and they either want to avoid liability or just simply make them safer. Also, with Trump being president now, I know he has stated that he plans to repeal Biden's AI executive order. Who knows if he will, but if he does, it will loosen AI regulations and will probably accelerate AI progress even more, which is both exciting and scary. In other AI news, an AI artwork of Alan Turing sells for $1 million. Now, this is not an AI artwork created by an AI image generator, it's actually created by a humanoid robot named Ada, or AI-Da. This clip you're seeing of it drawing is from many years ago. Obviously, it's way better now. It created this amazing piece of artwork that sold for over $1 million, and it's actually the first piece created by a humanoid robot to ever sell at auction. The auction house said the sale price for the first artwork by a humanoid robot artist marks a moment in the history of modern and contemporary art and reflects the growing intersection between AI technology and the global art market. Black Forest Labs introduces some new capabilities to Flux 1.1. Today, we are adding new high-resolution capabilities to Flux 1.1 Pro, extending its functionality to support 4 times higher image resolutions while maintaining an impressive generation time of only 10 seconds per sample. Here are some more examples. This model honestly never fails to impress me. I'm always shocked at how realistic its generations are. Finally, here's another paper that's been making a lot of noise: artificial intelligence, scientific discovery, and product innovation. For time's sake, we won't go into too much detail, but I'll read a bit of the abstract and then we'll take a look at a great breakdown on X. This paper studies the impact of artificial intelligence on innovation, explaining the randomized introduction of a new materials discovery technology to 1,018 scientists in the R&D lab of a large US firm. AI-assisted researchers discover 44% more materials, resulting in a 39% increase in patent fillings and a 17% rise in downstream product innovation. These compounds possess more novel chemical structures and lead to more radical inventions. However, the technology has strikingly disparate effects across the productivity distribution. While the bottom third of scientists see little benefit, the output of top researchers nearly doubles. Investigating the mechanisms behind these results, I show that AI automates 50% of idea generation tasks, reallocating researchers to the new task of evaluating model-produced candidate materials. Top scientists leverage their domain knowledge to prioritize promising AI suggestions, while others waste significant resources testing false positives. So this guy, Arnaud Diev, highlighted some of the more significant parts of this paper, and we'll take a look at a few of them. Here's a graph that shows how tasks change when AI is introduced. Idea generation halves, judgment of materials doubles, experimentation slightly increases. So the more scientists use AI, the less time they spend actually generating ideas themselves, and the more time they spend experimenting and especially judging the results the AI produced. And while scientists were more productive, they reported lower job satisfaction, mostly because their skills were underutilized and because their tasks were more repetitive after the AI. So overall, it seems like these scientists weren't big fans of using AI, especially the lower skilled ones, although it did clearly boost productivity and performance in general. Anyways, that's all the AI news for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like. And as always, if you want to stay up to date on future AI news just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.